Hey everyone, welcome back to another video for Theophos Supreme Lighting System. In this video, we are going to continue looking at behaviors, and actually we are going to finish looking at behaviors because we will be looking at the alarm, which is the final behavior. So we're going to move back to this light over here just so we have a switch set up so we can walk into an area and trigger the alarm. So I'm going to go ahead and select this light. I'm going to come over here to the general tab, light behavior, change that to alarm, and then I'm gonna come down here to behavior where I already have alarm open. And then what I want to do is I'm just gonna hit play so you guys can see this without the sound. So first things first, let's go ahead and set a sound. I'm gonna type in alarm. Let's pick industrial 2, softer sound. Then if I hit play, you can see that it's triggering the sound. If I scroll down, we can see our alarm flash rate is set to 2. If I set this faster, you're going to see something or hear something weird start to happen. And we're not necessarily getting overlaps. We're just getting lots and lots of triggers because the alarm flash rate is set high. That means it's triggering the sound more. And to get around that, you would want to come to concurrency settings and you would want to set the concurrency to no overlap. If we open that up, we'll see that we're only triggering one sound max at a time. We're limiting it to this one, and then we're preventing any new sounds from coming up. And this is going to pretty much desync the sound from the visual. So you'll have a faster visual, but the sound will still be the same. And then that also comes in handy if we were going to move to something like a fire alarm, where this previous sound with the industrial is more of a one-shot where it's going to be triggered occasionally. The fire alarm is something that you would want to loop. You don't really want there to be a discernible seam. There we go. So if we come over to this, we're going to play this entire sound before we trigger the next round. But we'll go ahead and take this off. We'll go back to industrial. I'm going to set this back to 2. The alarm volume is going to set the volume of the alarm sound. The attenuation is the sound or how far it's heard. So if I set that to our default that comes with Theophos and I trigger this, actually I think it's triggered to go off. Before it turned off, you can hear the you can hear it start to fade out the further you get. If you've done anything with sound or light, you kind of know what the attenuation is. So again, the concurrency settings are just for you to have your own different scenarios, because there's certain scenarios where you want a sound to loop. There's other scenarios where you want a sound to trigger more frequently, and so that's going to help you fine tune that. And then we have single color only, which is currently true, which if we play this again is going to be this red light, and then it's going to go to that off state. If we disable single color only, we're going to switch to this where it's going to go between color A and color B. So we're going to go from the white to red, or maybe we want to have some policemen outside of the window. And blue to red. So that's just the color for that. We do have spawn sound on actor. This is really just going to allow you guys to have more customization with how you run your alarms or your sirens. So by default, when we play a sound, we're spawning on this actual light mesh, but you might not want that. So if we come over here to our shapes, let's just grab a sphere, drop that in here, move that as far away from the thing as possible. I'm going to choose this light switch, and I want to set this to 0 so it stays on. Let's also set a sphere up over here by our flashlight. What we also could do, let me directional light. There we go. Get some light in here. Let us set this up over in this section, so we're nice and far away. And then I'm going to come back here to my light, and I'm going to go to alarm actors, and I have 2, right? I have one right there, and then I have one over here. So I'm going to add 2 alarm actors. I'm going to use this eyedropper tool to pick this one, and then I'm going to use the other eyedropper tool to pick this one, and then I'm going to turn on spawn sound on actor. So what's going to happen, what happened to my materials right there? What's going to happen is we're going to take the sound, and instead of spawning right here, we're going to spawn on the actors that we've placed around our map. So let's go ahead and hit play. Trigger this. And what's going on, why you're still hearing it, is I didn't set the attenuation radius. So let me go ahead and set the alarm attenuation to alarm. Hit play. That's gonna, so we have a sound coming out right here. If we run away from it, we can hear that the sound's not coming out of here. And then if we go check in on our guy over here, we can hear that the sound is not coming out of there. So if you have any situation where you're running an alarm or some kind of emergency in your stage, you don't want to have to set up multiple lights and then have sounds coming out of each one of those lights. So you can just set up speakers or little horns around your stage and then have the sounds coming out of those dynamically. I believe that covers everything for the alarm state. If there's anything that I didn't cover, you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments below, but I think that's going to do it for this series on behaviors. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.